Hey, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want to talk about Fallout 76, and more specifically, I want to talk about the reviews for Fallout 76. Now, the reviews at this point in time for Fallout 76 on Metacritic anyways are very negative. In fact, it has a 3.9 and most of the reviews for the game are negative. And many of you know I was a huge supporter of Fallout 76. I was very excited to play it. I supported it and stuff like that. And I gotta say, after reading the reviews for Fallout 76, I have to say 90% of the people that made a negative review for Fallout 76 clearly did not do their research on the game, and most of them have no clue what the fuck they're talking about. So guys, throughout this video, you will see essentially a bunch of negative comments that I found on Metacritic, kind of just slideshowed throughout the video. So you're essentially gonna see a bunch of screenshots of negative comments that I found on Metacritic, and these were kind of the most common things I found said about Fallout 76, and some of the interesting things I seen said about Fallout 76 when it came to negative reviews on Fallout 76. And while this slideshow is going on, I'm going to be talking about and addressing a lot of the complaints and stuff I seen. So let the slideshow commence. So the first thing I seen complained about a lot was that this wasn't a traditional Fallout. Now, Bethesda Game Studios made it very clear from day one that this would not be a traditional Fallout in any way, shape, or form. They said that the game would be online, and it was going to be different than anything they have ever attempted to make before. They said that the game would have no NPCs. They said that the way you would get your quest inside Fallout 76 was through holotapes and terminals, all which proved to be true. And yet people still complain that it's not a traditional Fallout game. So it's very clear that a lot of people did not listen to what Bethesda Game Studios had to say and kind of just ignored everything Bethesda Game Studios had to say about the game. Because if you did your research and you kept up to date with the Fallout 76 news and information, you knew before the game even came out that it wasn't going to be a traditional Fallout. And to sit there and see so many people complaining that it's not a traditional Fallout is a little bit ridiculous in my opinion, because it just goes to show 90% of the people who posted these negative reviews didn't do their research in any way, shape, and or form for Fallout 76. Moving on to the next thing I seen complained about a lot with this game is that it's not a traditional survival game. I seen a lot of people from the survival game community kind of try to work their way over to Fallout 76, and a lot of them said that it wasn't a traditional survival game, which is true. Bethesda Game Studio said that this would be a soft core survival game. Day one they said this, so I cannot see why in any way, shape, or form how people could be upset with this when Bethesda Game Studio said it would not be a traditional survival game. It would be a softcore survival game. So I don't see how people could be upset with this either in any way, shape, and or form. Moving on to the next thing I see said a lot about Fallout 76 is that it has no good main quest or side quest. Now, keep in mind, opinions vary, and people may think certain things in Quest are good and not good. In my opinion, I found the quest in Fallout 76 to be far better than the ones in Fallout 4. I found the ones in Fallout 4 to lack content, creativity, and character, and in Fallout 76, every quest that I played was unique and interesting. It had content, it had, creativity, and it had character. And I loved each and every single quest I played. I loved the public events I played. I loved the main missions I played. And I loved the side quests I played. Now, keep in mind, I haven't completed the entire game quest-wise, public event-wise, and main quest-wise and side quest-wise, so maybe that's just me, but from what I played, I found the quest to be very unique, interesting, and very fun. Not one of them was dull or boring to me in any way, shape, and or form. Even the ones that were the fetch quest, like go here, get this, I found to be interesting because they offered something unique and interesting to do. Anytime I played one of those fetch quests for Fallout 76, I left that quest with more knowledge about the Fallout universe than when I went into that quest. I learned more about the Fallout universe by doing those fetch quest, and I really appreciated and I really liked that about the fetch quest inside Fallout 76 and all the quests in general. Anytime I played a main story mission, I felt that the main story missions would transition smoothly into one another. and I felt each main story mission, and I hate to use this terminology over and over, was unique and interesting. Every main story mission transitioned smoothly into the next one, and every time I completed a main story mission, I felt accomplished, and I felt a sense of accomplishment when I completed them. And when I completed the main quest for Fallout 76, or what main quest I completed, I felt that I had more knowledge about the Fallout universe than when I started that quest. And the same thing applies to the side quest for Fallout 76 as well. Moving on into the next thing I see complained about a lot for Fallout 76 is the lack of NPCs and no settlements. Like I said earlier, I don't see how people complain about the lack of NPCs, or I don't see how people can complain about the lack of NPCs inside Fallout 76 when Bethesda Game Studios said months ago that there would be no NPCs inside Fallout 76, but there would be robot and robot vendors and that kind of stuff. So I don't see how people can sit there and complain about the lack of NPCs. I mean, Bethesda Game Studios, Pete Hines himself even said that, yes, there's no NPCs inside Fallout 76, but it's going to be up to you, the players, to replace them. And I really don't see a lot of people role-playing in this game. And that could be because people want to explore and have a good time like that and stuff. But as the game does get older and as the lifespan of this game does go on, I expect to see a lot of people role-playing as traders, as raiders, and all kinds of stuff inside Fallout 76. So sit there and complain about the lack of NPCs and the lack of settlements is a little ridiculous, including that Bethesda Game Studios confirmed a very long time ago that there would be no NPCs in this game. And the NPCs that are in this game, the robots and stuff like that, I find them very awesome for robots. They have unique and interesting personalities, they're very funny, and a lot of the times I run into these robots, they have that dark sense of humor that we've seen in the old Fallout games. And it's really, really cool to see kind of that humor come from a robot because, you know, they are very monotone and they speak very plainly, and it's very awesome. Also, the holotapes inside Fallout 76 are far better voice acted, in my opinion, than the characters in Fallout 4. The holotapes, for me, brought this game to life. They added an element of immersion that I have never experienced before inside Fallout. Every time we experience some type of dialogue, it's always been through NPCs, and to get it through holotapes this time, very well voice act holotapes, is extremely amazing in my opinion. So I don't feel like the world is soulless. I feel like the Fallout world is more alive than it ever has been, and that's just my honest opinion. Now, the next thing I see complained about a lot about when it comes to Fallout 76 is bugs and glitches. Things like frame rate, field of view, terrible UI, stash box, buggy building, or any other gameplay mechanic glitch or bug that you could think of. People have complained about when it comes to Fallout 76. However, all those complaints can be addressed by one simple fact and one simple word: updates. It's been confirmed that by Bethesda Game Studios that the game would constantly be updated each and every single week and or month. We would get things like DLCs. It would, not every month or week we would get DLCs, but certain updates will have DLCs in the future. Also, they said that they were going to add, content that people liked. So more quests that, more types of quests that people wanted to see more of, types of quests that people liked, they're going to add more of those to Fallout 76 by way of updates. And they are also, of course, obviously going to fix the bugs and glitches that we encounter in the game through updates as well. Now, keep in mind, I know Bethesda Game Studios has said that there is some stuff they cannot fix. However, every game I have ever played, I have ran into or heard of a bug or glitch that was never fixed. So yeah, I mean, you really can't hold that against Bethesda if it's something they truly can't fix. But if they could fix most of it and most of it's playable, I am absolutely okay and fine with that. Moving on to the PvP system. This is something I've seen complained about a lot. Oh, the PvP system, you have to shoot somebody 1,000,000 times for you to kill them. yeah, if they're not engaged with you in combat, which is how it should be. You shouldn't just be able to walk up to someone and kill them, and then find them again and kill them again, and then again and then again and then again. That is a huge process of griefing. That is what we see in traditional survival games. However, like Todd Howard said at the launch of Fallout 76 at E3 in 2018, when the game was first announced, or announced publicly to the world by Bethesda Game Studios, he said that it would be a softcore survival game. And that's pretty clear that softcore survival means people aren't just going to be able to kill you for absolutely no reason. You do little slaps and slaps, like very little slaps of damage to people until they, kind of accept your dual invitation. And once they accept your dual invitation, you get to PvP. And from the PvP that I've played, it works really, really well. It almost reminds me of something like hardcore Call of Duty, because the fights in PvP are almost over instantly. I've only had 2 of them, and they've all been over in the matter of, less than 45 to 50 seconds. So I don't see how people can complain about a PvP system when this PvP system separates people who want a PvP from people who don't want a PvP. And that, in my opinion, is a perfect PvP system. Moving on into the next thing I see complained about this game a lot: microtransactions. I don't see how people can complain about these microtransactions. It's not like Bethesda Game Studios has locked stuff behind a paywall. If you guys remember the documentary on the that was made about Fallout 76, which was made by NoClip, they talked about how there would be microtransactions in the game. Bethesda confirmed this a long time ago, and many people clearly did not keep up to date with information like we talked about. It was confirmed that a long time ago that there would be microtransactions in the game, and that all these microtransactions would be purely cosmetic, which they are. And everything that you could earn or buy inside the microtransaction store, you could earn in-game, which I am completely okay with. They haven't locked anything behind a paywall. They're not going to charge us for future content, updates, and or DLC, so I really don't see the problem with microtransactions that just allow people to unlock stuff a little earlier without having to actually find it. So I really don't see how people can complain about the microtransactions when these microtransactions are probably the way all microtransactions should be. Stuff that's not locked behind a paywall that you could earn through regular in-game play. Those type of microtransactions are what we should see in the gaming industry. Nothing inside Fallout 76 is locked behind a paywall. Everything that you could earn or buy inside the microtransaction market, you could earn through regular play inside Fallout 76. So I don't see how people could sit there and complain about that, especially when we are going to get free updates and free DLCs for Fallout 76 for years to come. The only way they're going to be able to do that is microtransactions. So I don't see how people can complain when it's a way for Bethesda Game Studios to make the game better. Moving on to the next thing I see: cash grab. I see so many people using this terminology, and honestly, it makes me think that 90% of the people don't know what a cash grab is. So what a cash grab really is when a company takes the money and they run. Kind of like what we've seen with DayZ. For those of you who don't know, DayZ was this huge online survival game. A bunch of people bought it, and a bunch of people were ready to play it, and then the developers kind of just left the game for almost a year and a half and really didn't do any major updates to it until people really started to get angry about it, and then they started to do updates and stuff like that. And it's pretty clear that Bethesda Game Studios is not doing this. Bethesda Game Studios has said that they will update the game every month and or week. It will add things like content. We'll get free DLC. The microtransactions don't lock stuff behind paywalls. So I don't see how this is a cash grab in any way, shape, and or form. Just because it's an online game doesn't mean it's a cash grab. And I see too many people out there saying that, this game is a cash grab, this game is a cash grab because it's online. Just because a game is a cash grab doesn't mean it's on. Just because a game is online doesn't mean it's a cash grab. I mean, if this was a cash grab from Bethesda Game Studios, they would have released what we had at beta and said, bye-bye, see ya everyone, good luck fixing it yourself. And they would have left and they would have took off and never did anything to it. However, they didn't do that. They have a full studio, Bethesda Game Studios Austin, dedicated to updating this game for years to come. So Does that sound like a cash grab to you in any way, shape, or form? No. Not to mention that the microtransactions don't lock anything behind a paywall. Does that sound like a cash grab to you? No, it doesn't. Moving on to the next thing I see complained a lot about Fallout 76, and this is my favorite thing that I'm going to address, the game engine. People talk about the game engine and reused assets inside Fallout 76, saying that they need to update their game engine, this and that, when we have never had this many complaints about a game engine before. We have been seeing this game engine from Bethesda Game Studios since the launch of Morrowind. Morrowind was released in 2002, 2006. We got the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. 2008, we got Fallout 3. 2011, we got the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. In 2015, we got Fallout 4. From the years, not 2002, let's say from the years 2002 to 2015, you're going to tell me that nobody has complained about the game engine up till now. The reason why people are complaining about game engines is because they hear these big YouTubers talk about it, and they just regurgitate all this information that they find, and they can't come up with anything unique or interesting or some type of criticism to give Fallout 76 without it being something that they've heard from somebody else. So for people to sit there and complain about a game engine that they've been using since 2002 is a little bit ridiculous. I mean, think about it. Nobody's complained about the game engine before this heavily. So that means people are complaining about the game engine just to complain about it, so they have something to complain about. And if you look at Morrowind in 2002, you're going to tell me that Oblivion a couple of years later didn't have better graphics. It didn't run better. It didn't feel better. It didn't play better. It didn't have more overall content. It did. In 2000, from 2006 to 2008 for Fallout 3, you're going to tell me that Fallout 3 did not have more content, did not have better graphics than Oblivion? It did. Moving into what? The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, you're going to tell me that there's no graphical changes, no change in map size or content size from Fallout 5 to the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim? No, there are clear and huge changes from Fallout 3 to the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, even though they're using the same game engine. From the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim to Fallout 4, even though I did not like Fallout 4 and I hated it with a passion, but I still played it and I did enjoy it. I had a love-hate relationship. I didn't hate it with a passion. So you're going to tell me that the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim had as much content, had a biggest map, had as many locations to explore, had as many things to do as Fallout 4? No, it didn't. Fallout 4 was by far a much larger game and had much more content to offer than the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim had much more overall content to offer than Fallout 3. Fallout 3 had much more overall content to offer than the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. And the Oblivion had far much more content than the Elder Scrolls Morrowind had. So to sit there and say that it's because of the game engine they used is a little bit ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying they can't use a new game engine. I would like to see them use a new game engine. But to sit there and say that it's a major complaint is ridiculous because they've been using it for a while now. And you're going to tell me Fallout 4 isn't a good game? You're going to tell me that the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim isn't a good game? You're going to tell me that Fallout 3 isn't a good game? You're going to tell me that Oblivion's not a good game? You're going to tell me that Morrowind's not a good game? I mean, come on, it's a little bit ridiculous. People are just complaining about it just to complain about it. Bethesda Game Studios has produced excellent quality games with the engine they currently have. They are constantly updating this engine to have more graphical improvements. You know, each and every single game that they have made with this engine has been better than the last one. Whether the map be bigger, graphical changes, and overall content, they have always made bigger and better games each and every single year, or each and every single couple of years, with the game engine they have now. So I don't see how people can complain about a game engine when the games only keep getting bigger and better. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I love all of you. Now, let me say this. I'm not saying Fallout 76 is a perfect game. Many of you know that I think Fallout 76 needs pretty decent amount of work, but it's not a bad game either. And for people to sit here and cast judgment and not take into consideration or take the fact into consideration that they'll be updating the game is a little bit ridiculous. Not one of these complaints that I seen did somebody say, oh, that's right, Bethesda's going to update the game and it may get better in time. Nobody said that. Nobody's even willing to give the game a chance. They're willing to cast it aside for, personal reasons, and it's a little bit ridiculous in my opinion. They compare it to the old Fallout games, which is super ridiculous. You cannot compare Fallout 76 to Fallout 4. That's like comparing an apple to an orange. It just can't be done. I mean, that's like comparing Black Ops 4 to The Last of Us. You really can't do them. They're two completely different games. And the same thing applies with Fallout 76 from every other Fallout game. It's completely different and something new that we have never seen before. And, yeah. Anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for this one. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, I'm not saying Fallout 76 is a perfect game. It's got a lot of work ahead. If I am wrong, also, I want to say that in 3 months' time, I guarantee you the reviews for Fallout 76 will be the other way around. I guarantee you that we will see far more positive reviews in 3 months' time than negative reviews in 3 months' time for Fallout 76. The positive will outweigh the negative in 3 months' time when it comes to way of reviews in Fallout 76. And if I am wrong, I will come back on this video. In the comment section down below, I will put, hey guys, I was wrong about the reviews for Fallout 76. Not only will I put, I was wrong about the reviews for Fallout 76, I will also put, I was wrong about the reviews for Fallout 76. However, I still enjoy the game and many others do as well. I'll put that in the comment section down below. And at the end of the day, do reviews even really matter? There's plenty of great games out there that got negative reviews. So I really don't see how reviews matter in any way, shape, or form. There's plenty of good movies out there that have got negative reviews. So at the end of the day, reviews truly, in my opinion, don't matter. What matters is that you, the player, like what you're playing. And as long as you like what you're playing, keep on doing it. Who cares what other people say? Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Love you all. Hope to see you guys right back here in the next one. But until then, remember to stay freaky, and bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. Love you all. 3 things I want to add in, guys. I was watching the video, editing it, and I noticed I kind of left 3 things out that I wanted to talk about and didn't talk about in the video. So, first thing I want to talk about is going back to the soulless world like people say Fallout 76 is. And many of you know I talked about how it's supposed to feel that way, and how there are robots in the game which are really, have unique and interesting character. They are, have good sense of humor. They have dark sense of humor. We talked about that. We also talked about how the holotapes kind of bring the world to life, and so do the terminals when you read stuff off the terminals. I forgot to also mention that there are notes in the game that you find scattered throughout Appalachia or West Virginia or the Fallout 76 game. And these notes also bring the game to life. They add a lot of lore to Fallout 76, and not only do they add a lot of lore, they just add a lot of knowledge about the Fallout 76 universe itself and the Fallout universe in general. These notes kind of add a lot of lore and kind of bring the world to life just a little bit more. And I forgot to talk about the notes. Second thing I want to talk about is the game engine. Yes, Fallout 76 runs off the same game engine that Fallout 4 did. However, graphically, Fallout 76 is much improved. Now, keep in mind, maybe I just noticed the graphics because I'm playing on PC on ultra settings. Maybe I'm just noticing that for that purpose. So maybe that has something to do with it. But from what I could tell, the textures and the detail are far better inside Fallout 76 than they are in Fallout 4. Not only is the graphics better, but Fallout 76 overall has a much larger map, and in my opinion has much more content than Fallout 4 did. But like I said, that's just my opinion. So yeah, just wanted to add that in there. Talking about the game engine wise, Fallout 76 is a much bigger, has much more content than Fallout 4 had. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was, I'm not saying if you give Fallout 76 a negative review, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not what this video was to point out or to, kind of bring up. This video was just to kind of point out that a lot of people who made negative reviews clearly didn't do their research on Fallout 76, and probably had some bias against Fallout 76 already. Really not many people seemed educated on Fallout 76. When I looked at a lot of these negative hate comments, or whatever you want to call them, or the reviews anyway, but I understand that people don't like the game and genuinely do have discrepancies against it. So I'm not saying that if you gave the game a negative review, like, you don't know what you're talking about. But I do believe a large majority of people who did post negative reviews didn't do the research and don't know what they're talking about when it comes to Fallout 76. So I just wanted to add that in there as well. Anyways, love you all. See you in the next one. But until then, remember to stay freaky, and bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, just want to add 3 more things in. Been editing the video for about 30-40 minutes now. Watched it, and I need to add in 3 more things to kind of complete my overview of the reviews and stuff like that. So first thing I want to say is I probably am expecting to get far more dislikes on this video than likes, and I completely understand why. We have a huge hate bandwagon surrounding Fallout 76 that I think a lot of people are on just to be on. And I think a lot of people are bad-mouthing the game just to bad-mouth the game. And with that hate bandwagon surrounding Fallout 76, I expect to get a lot of that blowback into this video. So keep in mind, I am fully prepared for dislikes, hate comments, all the kinds of negativity. And to those people who want to be super negative towards me, call me names, make fun of other people who like Fallout 76, I just want to take a moment to apologize for absolutely nothing. Everything I've said in this video, I meant. So just keep that in mind. Next thing I want to say is kind of surrounding the hate bandwagon still. I think this huge hate bandwagon we see surrounding Fallout 76 will be gone in 3 months' time. I think in 3 months' time we will see far more positivity surrounding Fallout 76 than hate when the game does come out. In fact, I think if we could take an overall vote, I guarantee you that there would be far more people who are happy with Fallout 76 than there are people who are unhappy with Fallout 76. But I guarantee you in 3 months' time it will show, and you guys will see in reviews and videos that far more people are excited and happy about Fallout 76 than are against it. I think all this hate and negativity and all this hate bandwagon around Fallout 76 will kind of drift off into the sunset in about 3 months' time, and I guarantee you we won't see any more hate surrounding Fallout 76. Sure, we might get, people who say they genuinely don't like the game, but right now there's a huge hate bandwagon surrounding it, and I guarantee you we won't see this amount of hate in 3 months' time. These people will be long gone, and they will have crawled back under their rocks and died. Third thing that I want to say is, like I said earlier, I know this isn't a perfect game. It needs work. I'm not saying it's the greatest game of all time. It's the best Fallout I have ever played. However, that's just my opinion. But like I said, this isn't the greatest game of all time. It does need work, and Bethesda Game Studios, like we talked about in this video, has constantly said that they're going to update the game with free content and free DLC for years to come. And I believe in 3 months or so, the game that we know now as Fallout 76 will look nothing like it will in 3 months. I think 6 months, from today, the game will look nothing like it does today. And a year from today, the game will look completely different than it does from today. And, 4 years, 3 years down the road, the game will just look like something totally different. Probably will be our dream game. I think we're seeing a huge hate bandwagon, like I said. I think we've seen it around the Elder Scrolls Online. If you guys remember when the Elder Scrolls Online first came out, same thing happened. Tons of negative reviews, people bad-mouthing it, saying that it shouldn't be, that it's a disgrace to the Elder Scrolls race or whatever have you. Tons and tons of people disliked it and they hated it, and there was so much hate and negativity surrounding that game at first. And now look at it. Over 11 million players, constantly being updated, not with free stuff, but constantly being updated, and the game is very good. Now, it's not my cup of tea, but it's still a very good game. And I'm pretty sure Fallout 76 is going to be the same way. With updates, with work, it's going to be a really, really good game. And I can guarantee you it will probably have millions of players as well. And another reason why I think people are upset with it is because the game is changing. It's evolving, or at least for now it is. And I expect Fallout in the future to go kind of back to its roots of that, first-person RPG type style. But if you guys remember, way back in Fallout 3 days, there was still a huge hate bandwagon surrounding Fallout 3. And the reason for that is because, Fallout was going from that two-dimensional, survival game that everybody knew into this first-person, three-dimensional world. And a lot of people were upset with that and just criticized it just to criticize it, saying that it was bad and all that kind of stuff. And I think the same thing is happening with Fallout 76. I think it's evolving. I think a lot of people don't like that, and they're either hating on it to hate on it, which is most of them, or there are people who genuinely don't like the game, which I think there are very, very few people that truly, genuinely don't like the game. Now, keep in mind, by few, I mean, a lot. But the amount of people that we're seeing hating on it, there's no way all of those people dislike the game. It's impossible. They are literally on a hate bandwagon and hating on it just to hate on it, and regurgitating everything that they hear their favorite YouTubers say. But yeah, I think that's it. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. Love you all. See you back here in the next one, and bye bye everybody. Thanks for watching.